I want everyone to think about their current and past relationships. Think about how they began or how they might have ended. My reason for talking to you today is I'm going to discuss Mark Knapp's relationship model. By the end of this discussion, you'll understand his relationship model and the 10 steps within his model. I will begin the discussion with 3 main points. My first main point will be the background on Mark Knapp and his relationship model. My second point will be the first 5 steps in his relationship model of coming together. And my third point will be his final 5 steps in his relationship model of coming apart. Now I will discuss Mark Knapp and his background and his theory. Mark Knapp was a professor at the University of Texas. He was in research of communication studies. He focused on nonverbal communication, interpersonal relationships, and interpersonal communication was one of his books as well at the University of Texas. This is Mark Knapp's model, his relationship model. It consists of 10 categories, subgrouped. The first 5 are subgrouped by coming together, and the final 5 are subgrouped by coming apart. This model explains how relationships grow and how they last, and also how they come to an end. They're categorized, like I said, into 2 different parts. And then the first part I will be talking about is the coming together stages, the first 5 steps in this relationship model. And beginning with that, the first step in this model is initiation. Whenever it has to do with a couple, friends, or even in business, the initiation are the first impressions when you first meet somebody. It's usually through interest of wanting to meet somebody, or it might be business related, like I said. It's usually an inaccurate sense of judgment. You can't really meet somebody and know somebody just from that first initial mark. In romantic relationships, appearance, dress, and smell will mostly matter. And the influence in this initiation it'll influence it greatly whether you want to further it into further stages or further the relationship. And if they do, it'll lead to experimentation. This is the more interested stage, more getting to know each other. The couples are more interested. They'll initially look for common ground. They'll look for common interests, hobbies, maybe acquaintances as well. It's usually small talk, but it still leaves a bigger impression. And they'll decide whether they want to maintain the relationship as well. And if they do, this will lead to intensifying the relationship. It's less formal. This may be a dating stage as well, whether they decide they want to go out on dates more often. More personal information will be shared. Impressions on interests will be more effective. And this is the dating stage, like I said, or nurture stage. And if they continue to do that, they will lead to integration. This is a lot more time spent together between the couples. Intimacy may grow, it may lead to a sexual relationship. It is also known as a dating stage for sure. More personal info identified. And they'll be able to find love, or if it's between friends, a closer relationship. This is a relation maintenance stage because this could last for months to weeks to years. And if it does and they want to further it, it'll lead to our bonding stage, which is the couple will then want to make the relationship apparent to the world. There's more of a connection tied together. They will want to make it legal. They'll want to get married, and it'll be an indefinite relationship between the couple. Only broken through mutual agreement, death, etc. And this can also last for months to years. Now I'll be discussing our coming apart stages. In our coming apart stages, misunderstandings can occur in our bonding stage, conflicts, arguments, which will lead that indefinite relationship to not persist as much. And if it does not persist, it'll lead to the 5 stages of coming apart. Beginning with our first part of differentiating. External pressures might be put onto these individuals in this marriage, which push them to make individual decision making for sure. And they'll want to develop their own hobbies, their own friends, maybe not share everything with their significant other. This will create a dislike in a faded relationship. The bond will be broken, and this will lead most likely to circumscribing. This will lead to the couples wanting their own personal space, individual boundaries, and possessions. They'll limit communication because they want to argue less. They'll probably disagree on most things. They'll stick to safe topics. The next stage will be stagnating. This is where separation is complete, but the couple persists only because of unavoidable reasons, such as children or living habits. The relationship will continue, but it will not improve, which will lead to our avoidance. This is the less physical contact, less trying to avoid each other purposely, trying to get away. They'll restrict any form of communication, and which would lead us to our terminating, the final stage of coming apart. The relationship completely terminates. The individuals will decide that they want to take their own separate paths and arrange new plans compatible with their new life. Divorce, it could lead to divorce, or with friends, sometimes changing of roommates, anything like that. Okay, I have now explained each step in Mark Knapp's relationship theory. You can now understand Mark Knapp's relationship theory and relate it to your own relationships or any other relationships you know about. Thank you.